go. There we go. Finally. Okay, now that we got all the posts and all the notifications sent out, now we're gonna go ahead and finish working on this Titan animation. So actually, let me go ahead and pull up some of my inspiration that I actually want to use for this. There's two in particular that I kind of look at to keep in mind. It's this is for the Final Fantasy Titan. Now I want to do my own kind of spin on it, along with some inspiration as well. And what I'm looking at, Titan is like this giant man-looking figure, kind of like a barbarian or something, and he just towers over everything. He's huge, and he's kind of like a god of Earth, and he just destroys everything in his path. When he's summoned out in the games, he usually comes out and does a big attack where it usually deals with him lifting Earth or smashing something with Earth or whatever. He summons a lot of Earth and ground stuff or whatever. So I wanted to make him huge and menacing and have his face just really portray that. I'm gonna try to keep it pretty loose for the most part, again, like we've done with the other animations. But there's a certain kind of, he has two different color schemes. He has one where he's like a gold and brown, another one where he's like a dark purple and some gold in there as well. But I gave mine some I think I gave him some like dreadlocks, just because I wanted to kind of make him look a little different than normal. But even with that being said, I'm still gonna kind of go off script a little bit. I'm still going to give him the ponytail. And then I'm going to do some hair coming off of it. like so. And then for his face, do something like this. And then he does have ears. So we'll have to fix that up a little bit to give him some ears. And then for his bottom chin part here, we're gonna kind of do that. And then I'm gonna give him, he's gonna have lips. Kind of like this. And I don't like that bottom lip. I don't like what we did here. But for his teeth, I do want to keep it somewhat like that. Let me just take a look at my other reference here, because there's a certain look of his teeth that I want to keep. So here's the one look, right? So actually, let's do this. Let's finish his eyes first. That's going to give us the perspective that I'm looking for. Like that. But then his eyes, all this is going to be blackened in. That's my aim. But before we can do that, I want to check and see. Let's do this. Let's save. Gotta make sure we save constantly. Just give him some pupils. Well, that didn't turn out very well. So the idea was that make the space between his eyes blackened in. But that's not really working out very well for me. So I might just leave him blank like that. I think my tools actually... Okay, no. I'm gonna kind of copy the nose. Kind of like that. That looks good. That's not bad right there. Let's do that, and then let's definitely do some lines up. It's not supposed to be hair, but it's coming off looking just like hair, unfortunately. And for the ears, typically, there's like a little thing like that. And you'll see a little bit of the other ear over here. Bam, something kind of like that, right? So now that we kind of have the face where we need it to be, there's a few more things I'm going to do on the head. It's supposed to look very tribal. So let me get rid of that. Kind of like that right there. That looks good. Looks good. Nah, we'll leave the teeth and mouth alone. Alright, so let's get the rest of the hair next. So we'll just draw that in real quick. Bam, like that. Bam, like that. That right there. That looks good. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And usually when you see the games, Titan is depicted, like I said, bald-headed and, you know, like a savage, like a giant savage. He's basically just a giant. But I just love the idea of him looking a little bit more tribal. A little bit more savage. I'm trying not to overdo the hair too much. Alright, so now let's save. Now let's draw his arms next. I think that'll be good so that we can kind of set the look for his back. You know, and as I'm doing this, I'm just going to jump right into drawing his back as well, as necessary. Something like that. He's got some giant, massive arms. Kind of like this here. That looks good. And unfortunately I drew that, but I'm gonna have to erase it already. Some of these lines here. Well, that's just fine. So I can see already for this project, there's gonna be a lot of drawing. Even if we do keep it pretty loose for the most part. And I think it's best to go to, as we draw these muscles on the side of his, I need to know this. As much as I draw anatomy, human anatomy, I should know the names of these things. But as I draw these muscles, it's good to go ahead and whatever angle that you're looking at is the angle that we're going to draw the curve on. So if we're looking at him from his right side, we should see the curve come from the top right to the down right. And then vice versa, if we're on the left side, it will come from the other way. That's just a artistic choice that I'm just making on the fly. There's no set rule that actually says that. It's just one of those things that people can get really bogged down on. And it's like, if you don't make that choice to do that, then you'll be sitting here forever like, oh, which way should I draw this? I don't know which direction. And we'll draw his chest. And Titan doesn't seem like he actually has, you know, too much of a... He doesn't have a lot of human anatomy to show exactly. But there is one thing he has across his chest. And that is this sort of like... It's going across his collarbone, down, and through his pecs. And it goes down a little bit too. It's just like... It's a shape that we're going to end up doing. Kind of like that. And remember, we're going to have to draw that across all of his drawings. Kind of like that right there. And coming across his back too. Boom. Just like that. We don't need to see all the detail in the back there, but we do need to draw... I'll draw that part too. We need to draw his forearm here. Kind of like that. And now, because all these lines here, let's save. Let's make sure we close this up. We got to make sure we close up all these lines. Remember, like last time, we didn't close up all the lines and it took forever to color this thing. So let's do that now to make sure. Even if it overlaps a little bit, I think that's fine. That's how you can make sure that it's closing up. Because when people are watching this, they don't see these little lines to begin with. They'd be like, oh, it looks done. When technically, oh, it looks clean. When technically it's probably not as clean as what their eyes can actually see. There's a little bit of smoke and mirrors going on. So we get that. I think everything in between the hair and stuff and the head, I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. Let's go to the next layer. I'm going to paste it because I'm going to take the head by itself and just make that its own layer. Not its own layer, but its own shape. Make sure before we do anything crazy, we save. So let's take it all, group it. Copy, bring it back over here. Very nice. Actually, before we bring the head back, let's actually go ahead and draw some of the other parts of the body that we couldn't actually get to as much. Kind of like that. Like that right there. Boom. And there's a reason why we didn't draw that, because we can't see it. So let's go ahead and erase that. And then let's erase well, before we erase anything else, let's just leave that the way it is. Save. Now let's draw these hands. I see the head moved a little bit. That's fine. I'm not worried about it moving too much. So I'm going to come to the very next layer and I'm going to draw these hands right where it's at. And the reason why I came to the next layer because there was so many lines that was going on right there. And when I drew these hands in the animatic, it was literally just to place the hands where they were. And I just, without using a reference, I just kind of thought of how does a hand look when he's like, ugh, he's angry and he's like holding his hands like that, you know? That's how it looks. So we'll just finish drawing that. We're not going to worry about any fingernails because we're not, you know, he's not a real person. He doesn't deserve fingernails. So why did I draw 2 lines right there? Oh, I see. One of them was a thumb. And this is going to be a still image anyway, so there's no need to worry about, oh, the thumb's going to move or whatever. No, we're not worried about that. And actually, we'll erase that. This is going to be a little bit more straightforward. The knuckles are going to have their own kind of like little knuckle, I don't know, knuckle guard or whatever. It's part of his ornamental armor. Don't be afraid to draw things overlapping. See, I didn't draw this one very well, so it's turning out a little loppy. I didn't plan this finger very well. That's okay. It's not meant to be perfect. In fact, I'm just going to erase that one. We'll probably do that one last. Unless I can figure it out. And you know I can. Something like that. 1, 2, 3. Four, 5. Something like that. And then we're going to draw the palm. Again, you can't really see the palm anyway. But that's okay. And that's kind of what the hand looks like under. So everything that overlapped. You know, I mean, a lot of this, I know I am kind of just drawing it. And it's like, you know, it's like, well, how can you tell where this is supposed to go and that's supposed to go? It's really just thinking about what a hand looks like. You know, if you look at your hand, if you stare at your hand long enough and you study hands, you know, there's certain circles there. These are like little squares built up on top of each other to make rectangles. So what does a rectangle look like if it were being bent, right? It's like imagining your fingers as rectangles. Imagine your palm as circles and squares and things. So imagine it at different angles, studying it from different angles. And eventually you just remember, it's like, oh, you know, the hand will look like this if it were turning this direction. If it were turning that direction, it would look like this. And that's really all there is to it. But again, a lot of these shapes are really just meant to be recognizable and not necessarily like the end all be all for fingers. In fact, because again, people aren't really looking at the fingers and being like, oh man, that's exactly what a finger doesn't look like. People be more impressed by just being able to recognize a finger just in general. So whatever we did over here, I'm literally just gonna copy it, paste it, and flip it. There's no need to draw the hand 2 times. There really is no need for that, unless you're just trying to be cool or something. I don't know. But I do enlargen it a little bit because this side is supposed to be a little bit closer to us than the other side is. For this, I'm gonna put my onion skin on. I'm gonna turn off the bottom drawing. And we're gonna erase everything that is under the hand. So turn my erase tool on. Just start erasing. Do that. So everything that was under, go ahead and get rid of that. Get rid of this. Is that under? So this actually is supposed to be more like right here. Same with this one, be more like right there. This is actually a little too big, so we'll shrink it down just a little bit. This can actually move up a little bit to fit it all in. That looks great. So now we can erase a little bit more that was under here. That looks nice, honestly. I'm gonna erase that head. I'm not gonna erase too much of this arm over here or these arms over here, because what I want to do is actually move this up and down. I'm gonna move the head up and down. I'm going to move a lot of these body parts up and down and moving around so that it can show like some movement. And in fact, let's go ahead and get rid of that, and that. But we do need to give it a little bit of that right there. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and erase this right here. I feel like it will be a stronger piece. Yeah, it'll be stronger without it. Let's do it like this. Okay, that looks good. Something like that. Okay. Not too much more ornamental stuff, just on his hands, his chest, and his brow. We might put something later on his like we might put something else on his like feet or something, but not getting too crazy. Alright, so we got what we need here. Let's go ahead and start actually grouping some of these objects so that they move together. So let me save. Let me group these arms together. And if it crashes, then we'll just bring it back up. Group these arms together. The head is already grouped. And now, let's do this. Let's actually just move them out of the way. Whoop. Let's group these hands together. Now let's take these arms out of the way again, like we did before. Save. The head. Let's take that out of the way. Save. Now let's group this body together, all in one object. Save. Actually, what will be even better, an even better idea? Let's just close this up into a shape. That'll be even better. Same thing with these arms. Yeah, let's move the arms to a different layer. And let's close these up too. Because the whole point of it, or what I'm doing now, I'm going to close these up and make them their own shapes so that I can just color them in. This would be something new to try. I haven't really tried this before too much. I would do this with certain animations that kind of called for, like, certain animations that called for having this type of thing done. But, don't want to do it here though. That's my only problem. But these are grouped, so that's fine. So let's group these up. First let's ungroup them. Then let's group them. Same thing here. Let's ungroup them. And then group them. Boom. So these parts will be much easier to move in unison. Whoop. My bad. So let's actually turn off a lot of this stuff. This is all we really need right now. So for this, we'll move it forward a couple frames. This right here, move it forward. Like that. So now we have our repeats. So let's go ahead and bring our other layer back on again. So this is where everything's gonna move up. The arm's gonna move up a little bit. We'll probably have them like go out some like that. Kind of like that there. We'll just place them. Have these move up a little bit. Turn his hands up. This is where it might get a little tedious. And his head comes down. And his body will squeeze in. Oh, I didn't group the body up. That's on me. So let's actually fill that back in. Alright, so everybody has their own groups again. So the body, I want it to kind of squeeze in just a little bit. And this one, the The head's gonna go up. Whereas the arms are gonna go in. And actually, this is where I want the hands to kind of rotate outward. I want this to rotate back a little bit, kind of like that. That's going to squeeze up and out. That should widen. These hands should actually turn down, not up. Whoop. All right, let's take a look and see how that turned out. We can do some effects where probably see some like smoke or something come out of his nose or something as well. So this animation is pretty short-lived. That's cool. We'll come back and color that a little bit later. Whoop. Let me just check on some technicals here. All right. Looks good. So next part. So we're just gonna do a close-up of the face. So all I'm gonna do is just copy this, paste it here. And you know what? You know what? Even better. Let's do this. Let's continue the animation, right? So we'll start with the first frame. We'll put a keyframe right here. What that's gonna do is gonna lock in the image in that position. We're gonna go to our new space, put another keyframe, and then we'll do a space right before that, do another keyframe. So in this little span, this animation is gonna be at this same exact size and position. So as we go to our new one, I'm gonna copy and paste the same exact animation. But here, now I can manipulate it and change it to something else completely different. So let's put it right here. Right here. We'll eliminate that. And I'll actually delete all these drawings right here. So it's only going to last until this spot. So all of this here can be deleted, except we'll put our last keyframe right there, put a keyframe right there. So every new drawing I want to put a keyframe because I want to lock in the position right there. But see this right here, this is where I want to actually take my drawing. I'm going to zoom in. That's the difference that we can do here. So I'm just gonna focus on this picture. I'm gonna zoom in. Just like that. So now we don't have to redraw the whole thing as a close-up. It's just there automatically. Because we changed the position, we zoomed in. Ooh, I just saw something. What we can actually do, we can have it zooming in to his face to actually meet that point. So this right here can actually be this right here. And then we'll copy one of the old ones So watch this. Watch, it's gonna zoom in. And then that's what we're gonna have a close up on his face, and he's just gonna be hollering, ah, whatever. Just like that. That looks good. So this is a spot. So now we're gonna have to take the face and redraw it, but we don't have to do a whole lot of redrawing. All we really have to do is grab the image. Let's uncrop it. Let's put the image back right here. So now we're drawing at this maximum level or whatever, right? It's zoomed in camera frame. But what we can do with that is go back to one of these original drawings. Probably this one here. I'm gonna do something. Get another layer. Boom, just like that. I'm just gonna draw right on top of it. And on this, excuse me, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find my my original animatic. And what he looked like, he was just yelling, right? His mouth is open, he's like, ah, whatever, he's yelling. That's easy. We don't have to sit here and look at that. We know his mouth is open, he's yelling, he's angry. So let's just go ahead and turn that back off. Let's go back to our drawing that we're gonna copy over. Probably this one here. So I'm gonna keep the same, everything on his face, except I'm gonna draw his mouth open now. Kind of like that. Bam. I'm gonna do his teeth. Try to keep it in the same place. Something like that. And then probably widen his nose a little bit because he is yelling. I don't think his eyes can scrunch up too much anymore. So I'm not gonna mess with the eyes because the eyes will pretty much just be the same. I am gonna widen this these nose creases a little bit, and I'm gonna elongate some of this like chin decoration that we did earlier. Elongate everything else, kind of like that. And I mean, that's it. That's his face. I might change his. I don't know if I'm even gonna change his hair up, to be honest. No, we probably should. We probably should. So it's gonna be something kind of like this. Because it's all coming down now, right? His head's going to be tilted. Kind of like that. And then bam. Actually, no, I'm gonna redraw that. That's fine. That's okay. Just like that. Bam, bam, bam. So drawing the little hair follicle things down here, it's not gonna be so bad. Kind of like that. And all you're really doing is just drawing the ends back on it. You just want to close it up as much as you can. So that way the color stays inside. Kind of like that. Bam, bam. These little dreadlocks. And it doesn't really need to make a whole lot of sense, as long as it's recognizable. I mean, you know, when you start getting to what I'm noticing, the more and more I do this art style, it's like you're not really drawing everything to be its most accurate, you know? It really is, like I said before, like a smoke and mirrors. So let's save. Let's ungroup all of this. And let's just delete all the hair. All this hair. So savage. We're going to delete this whole bottom mouth part, chin as well. Alright, let's copy this. Put it in place. Bam. It's perfect. Well, almost perfect. So we'll lock that up. So there are some lines that are being overlapped. That's cool. Let's look at our bottom drawing again. Put some lines back in here again. I'm gonna put another little extra crease line right there as well. Save it, group it, and then let's go to our where we're gonna place it for our new drawing. Right here. So actually gonna place it in the place of this right here. Uh-oh. So let's copy all of this. Paste it. Let's remove this head. Put this head right here. Copy. That didn't work, huh? So what I want to do, it's not going to work the way I want. I'm just going to have to place it the way it is and just... What I can probably do is copy the position, paste it in place. No, it's not going to work. Oh, there it is. Okay. Then we'll take this head and then we're going to raise it up like that. Probably move him to the side a little bit. Raise the head up. I kind of want him to be down like that a little bit. And then what I'll do, so I will expand this. Here, let's take a look actually. Let's look at when does he start screaming? Right there. So this actually needs to be right there. Then I'm gonna, I think that works. Just like that. That looks nice. I'm gonna copy and paste this over and over a couple times. Perfect. That worked out very nice. Now, this is where we're gonna get into a little bit more dynamic drawing. This is where it's actually going to stay loose. It's gonna get loose and stay loose. Because so far we've been very clean. Everything's kind of in its place. It's where it's supposed to be. Blah blah blah. Now this is where it's gonna get loose. So let's get our pencil tool again. We'll do some hair. I'm actually gonna do his arm. So what's happening is he's elongating himself a little bit, and he's off screen a little bit too. So kind of like that. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it off right here, just like that. And I'm gonna erase some of this here too, because I don't want a whole bunch of unnecessary lines that we're not even using to be on the side over here. So let's do that. Let's see what it looks like. Very good, very good. And this shoulder is probably even still too much detail. Yeah, a little bit closer to that right there. Could probably get away with doing something like that there as well. Yep. I think that looks good. Alright, so the next frame that actually goes on for 2 frames. Something like that, and then we're gonna draw a fist to the side. What does a fist look like from the side? Kind of like somewhat like this. Something like that. Then I'm going to get some of his like that. So the hair is what's going to really throw us off here. In fact, I might just save the hair for last. because it is going to throw things off so much. It's going to be so much to draw anyway. Maybe we'll do something very simple. Just gonna draw an ear real quick. So this is the mouth. I'm just trying to draw this thing from memory upside down. Something like that. And actually, I'm gonna give him a bigger neck and a bigger back, kind of like that, instead of whatever I was drawing right here. In fact, it's probably a lot bigger than all this. Like that, a little bit closer to that angle and that level right there, I would think. We'll definitely have to come back in and put the details and stuff, because there's nowhere near even close to everything. Actually, I mean, while I'm here, I might as well go ahead and do some of it now. In fact, what did it look like? It did go across his collarbone a little bit. Imagine for animation, you got to do this for every single frame. You got to do this drawing over and over, and they're only going to see it for like a split second. What I'll probably do is take this and just elongate it a little bit, kind of like this here. I didn't really see the need to redraw this over again when it's virtually the same drawing. Let's close off some of this. Like that. Then I'm going to take the face right here. I'm just going to paste it right here. So now we're doing a little bit of the tricks. But what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to try to redraw it a little bit. Kind of like this. His teeth, his snarling teeth. Like that, and then, you know, of course, his other eye. Can't forget that. So I don't need this face anymore. And I'm actually just gonna go ahead and close this. Like this. So far, everything we've done can be colored. I'm going to take this face, what I'm going to do, I'm going to break it up. So this is where I'm using my own drawing as a reference, because I don't remember all the proportions and everything and how it looks. What we could actually do, we could either use this again or use it as a reference. But for now, I'm going to try and use it again if I can, because there's nothing better than just to have the actual drawing all over again, if possible. The problem with that is that it's an old drawing from another layer where the lines were so much thicker. So I'm actually going to have to bump my line weight up to 10 in order to match. And then not only that, I need to make sure their proportions are still as massive as what I drew for to begin with. It's kind of hard because it's like I'm trying to really make his arms look like they're squeezing up. I'm still not liking these wrists too much. I'll have to come back and fix that here in a second. This angle needs to be down like that a little bit more. Yeah, I don't feel like his wrist would be so tiny like that. Closer to that right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we explode it out a little bit. put these knuckle guards on here again. I'm gonna try my best not to get too bogged down into this, even though it's exactly what's happening right now. Kind of like that. Bam, bam. We're not going to see that side too much, but we are going to see a little bit of his legs here. And then let's go ahead and erase this because it's not really hitting the shape that we're actually needing here. Kind of like this. It's getting tough because I can't really see the arm the way I need it to. I need to right now. It's kind of like this. It's gonna come off like that. Might be really messing this up so bad, and it's not even that serious. It's like two butt cheeks. So I should go back to our original drawing. Let's see what we have here. So it was really very quick drawing. Whoop. We'll probably just finish the rest of this up a little bit, and then we'll get going onto the we'll go ahead and call it a night on this one, so that we can go ahead and take a break. Actually, it's going to be a little further down like this. It's probably going to be just a little bit smaller. Kind of like that. Bam. those numbers right there. Bam. Whoop, I meant to flip it. Like this. Bam. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Everything's working out just right. Get rid of those lines right there because we won't see them. Like that. Let's get rid of this line. Great, great, great. Give me this arm over here. Let's flip it. Let's turn it. Do one of these numbers. And then let's grab this face. Probably gonna be the last. You know what? I don't think I'm even gonna use this face at this point. Well, I don't know. It seems to be working out still. Should probably do it kind of like this. That. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I said the last drawing was going to be the last one. I'm still working on this thing. It's like once you get into it, it's hard to step away. Because it's just getting so good. Bam, just like that. Okay, all right, I think that is enough for now. yeah. I think that looks well. That looks good. So we'll take that and we'll end it off right here with this illustration, and we'll come back on the next live stream and try to get a little bit further along. We're looking at maybe Friday. We'll probably be able to finish this whole thing up, considering all the drawings that we have to do